Good to see ya. Looks like I'm live, and I'm going to be tackling basically rendering content in Photoshop. So, yeah. So thanks so much for joining me. I see you guys out there. Good afternoon. And fantastic for you joining me today. So feel free to say hello. I'm broadcasting from beautiful Denver, where I think it's going to drop. It's like 72 out today, and it's going to drop down to about 50 degrees, and it might snow tomorrow. So that's the situation I'm dealing with, but it's all good. We're going to have fun. Hello, Vanessa and Hamza and Lamia and Andrea. Good to see everyone here joining me on Facebook and all over, and Steve and all that stuff. So let's go ahead and click into this and have some fun, because this is fun stuff that we do. So I'm going to switch over my screen. I think this is awesome, by the way, because typically we use Photoshop to manipulate photos. So you're always bringing in a photo and then you're manipulating it. So that's what we use Photoshop for. But there's so much more that we can do, because Photoshop can actually generate content. And that's what I'm going to do. So right in here, you can see these trees, for instance. Yeah, so these trees all generated in good old Photoshop. Okay, so I'm going to turn that off. I'll just start kind of from scratch. I'll go to Filter. And this is all going to happen right up here under Render, Flames, Picture Frames, Trees, Clouds, a number of things. I'm going to do trees right now, selecting tree. And here we have the ability to kind of create our own tree. Here's an oak tree, for instance. I can increase the branch height, so it's going to make the trunk a little larger. Maybe make the branches a little bit thicker, adjust the light direction. You get the idea, controlling everything about this oak tree, diving into a pepper tree. I never even knew what a pepper tree was, but there it is. You know, a pine tree as well. Clicking OK, I've generated that pine tree. So this is stuff we can do. You've probably seen this before. What's up, James Ziegler and Vanessa? So again, I'll just kind of clip that to this little square right over here, and let's be a little bit more creative with this if we can. Hopefully that works for you. Face Off from Bangladesh. Awesome. Hervith from Hungary. Awesome. So let's take this to the next level, because what I want to do is I want to take this path that I've created. So you can create using the pen tool, whatever. Ultimately, you're going to create a path just like I did. Use the pen tool to create this path. It's obviously the shape of an R. We can see it over here, and we can select that path layer. We'll go to Filter. We'll go down to Render, and we'll go to Tree, just like we did before. And what does it do? It goes ahead and wraps that tree around or in that shape of that path. So this is fantastic. I can come in, maybe change this to a different tree, adjusting the branch height. Branch thickness is pretty good because I want it kind of thick so you could read the letter. But I really like this, how this is looking, something like that. Let's click OK. Bam, there we have it. Oh, sorry. Let me zoom out. There we are. There we have it. There's our R. We can have some fun doing it with the E. This time I'm just going to use the last used filter is all I'm going to do. That's Control Command F. Bam. Bam. Let's do it with this S. Bam. There you go. Let's do it with the T over here. Done. There we have trees generated with trees. Cool. Pretty easy to work with. What's up, Thomas? Good to see you here, buddy. All right. Cologne. Burned from Cologne. Awesome. So again, this is really cool. You can go nuts with this because there's so much it can do. This is just kind of what I generated really fast. But if you think about it, you can say, hey, you know what? We can take a tree, and we'll go in here, we'll go to Render, Tree. We'll do this again. We'll get creative with this. I'm going to select this one beneath it. I'm going to eliminate all the leaves. So take the leaves down to 0 and the size to 0, right? Just doing something like that. and taking the thickness down a touch as well. Clicking OK. Bam, there it is. Something new I'm doing here. Let's do this a couple more times. Boom. Boom. I think you know what's happening. Whoa, look at that T. Because it has more curves with it. There we have it. So what was once a tree is now roots. So flip that over. You could see that says roots. Turning that on. Maybe duplicating this. Dropping that in like so. Boom. Moving that. Oop. Moving this over. Sorry about that. There we go. Trees. Storms make trees take deeper roots. So that's basically what I'm creating in this case. And here's the final, right? So that's kind of fun, thinking creatively about what we can do. Jamie, how did I create the path? I'm going to do it again. This time I'm going to do it with a flame. Okay. So it's super easy to work with. Okay. So there is a couple things you need to kind of work with, here. Let's actually kind of move this off to the side since you want to know, adding a new layer, using the pen tool. Actually, let's get a little bit more creative than that. I'm going to use the, freeform pen tool. At least I think I'm going to. Let's just draw a path like so. It makes it an initial work path, right? So what we need to do is we need to double click on that, and this is how we save the path. So this is an example for Jamie. So we're going to call this Jamie. There you are, Jamie. There's the path that's created. Sure enough, as we can see, if we go to filter, render, it's going to go ahead and map that path, that tree along that path like I'm doing right here. We'll change this to a foliage plant. So again, we could just use just something a little bit simpler like I'm doing right here. And there's just a simpler version of just like a little branch that we can control. Okay, so there's one. Let's move on because there's more things I want to do. I want to shift gears. I want to jump into something more interesting because I can draw if I want to, or I can use the custom shape tool. Okay, you ready for this? Ursula from Germany. Good to have you here. So let's do this. Let's go to, let's go right up here. So these are my custom shapes. Look at all these custom shapes we have now. It's getting crazy, right? But I'm into it. I'm going to just grab, I think, a nice heart, right? Drawing out this shape, right? So there it is. Just made this shape layer. We can double click on that path and we'll just call this heart. That's how I make it a path, right? So we can see it right up here. There's my shape, my new path layer. I have that selected. I'm going to make sure I'm on a blank layer, and then we'll go to filter, render, and this time we're going to go to flame. All right. Oh, thank you, James Ziegler. Myself and Larry are your favorites. I don't know Larry. Myself and Larry. Okay, so I'm going to go to actually selected picture frame, but I'm going to pick flames. So we'll do multiple flames along a path. In fact, what I want to do multiple flames one direction, right? So it's conforming it now so they go straight up and down. And yes, I can control the length of them, the length of these flames. Let's make them larger. Ooh, that's pretty crazy, right? Let's make it something kind of like that, right? So that's easy enough. You know how to do that, right? Melissa Arnold's in the house. Good to see you, Melissa. Fantastic. Venkatesh, cool. So it's rendering this content. I made the mistake of not having enough canvas room, to be honest with you. Because now when I move it down, see, it's chopped right there, right? So do better than I do, right? Let's go beyond this because I think it'll be fun to take that same shape right here. Like I said, I'm going to make this smaller. Okay, so I just kind of have a little bit more breathing room, and hopefully you can see that stroke. In fact, I could probably thicken up how it looks. like that. There you go. Little pro tip as well, making that stroke thicker so everybody can see it. So this time what I'm going to do something similar. I'm going to get more abstract. We'll go into render. We'll go to flame. And we'll play with this a little bit more because I did multiple flames one direction. I want to do one flame along a path. Love this. Check this out. Got this cool swooshy look that we can start to play with. So you still kind of get a hint of heart, but again, is very abstract and looks pretty cool if you ask me. So I'll just do a couple of those really fast, if you don't mind. Render, flame, adjust some of the settings, right? So we have the width that we can play with. And I can actually play with the color. I could play with it in here if I want to, which is fine, but actually I probably want to colorize it in Photoshop. But there's that abstract look. Click OK. I can get into some advanced things that we can do, is like make it more jagged or more smooth, make it more turbulent. You get the idea. I'm still trying to maintain that shape of this heart somewhat, okay? But again, just kind of playing with it. We'll click OK. There it is. 1, 2. Let's take this second one. Let's flip it horizontally like that. Maybe move it over. Right. And guess what? We still should have that heart in here somewhere as well. So let's just make sure we have that heart in here. All right. You get the idea. I'm just having fun and showing you how you can take something, and you're probably thinking, oh, I'm never going to use flames or whatever else. Well, you can use them in a more abstract fashion is what I'm doing right here. Okay, cool. Here's another one. You get the idea. Again, just having fun with this whole idea of this heart on fire, because I appreciate you guys. James, Terry White. Yes, Terry White's awesome. Love Terry White. If I need to know anything about technology, I just ask Terry because he is very much into technology. We're going to play with these colors. We're going to go more pink and teal, kind of like that. And I could always play with this some more as well. All right. Nice ghostly effect in the blue. Still trying to maintain that heart a little bit, right? We could see it right there. Can we reveal more of that or less of that? You get the idea. Command J to jump that layer. I can move that up to the top. Play with this some more. Command J. And I would typically spend forever on this, right? But now you can see. Let's change this to lighten, for instance. And now we can add more or less to the middle in there. Again, just having fun and showing you hopefully some new things that you may or may not have known or worked with in Photoshop, which can be tough to do. But there we go. We have our lovely heart. And let's not forget, we have our lovely tree design as well. So I'm going to leave you with that. There's also, by the way, if I go in here, there's other rendering capabilities. So there is also picture frame. I've found less use for this, but still can be cool. Alexander, where's the squirrel? Yeah, where is that squirrel? That squirrel's been lazy. It's been eating walnuts and berries, right? Not taking very long breaks, not reporting for work. He has TPS reports to fill out. You know, it's just going to reflect on his performance review, this squirrel. We're talking about Instagram, of course. Okay, how important, got a long question. How important is it to be able to draw, to be a designer, graphic designer, right? How important it is to draw. You need to be able to get your ideas across. So that's your one goal when it comes to designing. I personally went to school with, I went to art school. My roommate was a graphic designer and could not draw, but he's a designer to this day. But I was like, he did graphic design. He couldn't draw. I felt like, oh, I could draw. Therefore, I should be in the graphic design program or the illustration program. But yeah, so you don't need to have that ability. No, I would. Jim, great question. Can you edit the path post render? You cannot, right? That's where you honestly, you're probably going to want to use fun, good old fun Illustrator to do what you're talking about. So here's a path, right? Let's go into brushes. This is where I'd want to use Illustrator, right? Because I have control over the path once I make something, and it just makes your life a lot easier. And so that's typically what I would do. Let's open up superpowers because I have this default file, and I'm going to finish this up soon because I'm kind of deviating a little bit from my... Oh, where are my brushes? From my original subject, but yes, you'd basically use Illustrator to do that. And that's about it. So thanks so much for hanging out with me. And wait for it. I think this is the file that's loading. Okay, let's just show you this one more time. Here's a brush. Here's how I can, yes, I can have these different strokes, but I like something like this. It's like, okay, I made this. It could be a flame or whatever, but now I have this snake, and I can always redraw it in a different mode. You get the idea, using Illustrator. So this is a case for Illustrator. Here's more of a case for Photoshop. So thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate you guys. Hang in there. Let's hang out together. Really happy that you guys are hanging out with me. What does it take to get a job at Adobe? A lot of hard work, a lot of, right place, right time. But all you can do is work on you. So join these sessions and get better and better, and good things will come your way. That's the plan anyways. Thanks everybody, Jamie and Magnus and Jim and Vanessa. You guys are, oh yeah, it is a little short. Am I going too short? Let's see, check my time. Only 17 minutes? I did this really fast, didn't I? It's amazing. But again, I'll probably play with this some more. Maybe I'll get something posted as well. I honestly would probably come in here and play with the, I don't know, maybe the hue and saturation, right? I can shift this color a little bit, and then I can paint with a brush. Let's get back to my default brushes, this little softy here, and eliminate some of that. So now I'm just kind of playing with some of the colors right in here, right? Like that. It just needs to have a little bit more dimension when it comes to the color, right? So again, thanks so much. I guess that's about it. That's all I have for you. It doesn't have to be long to be good. In fact, shorter is better. I want to be very... by the way, let me show you one more thing. Right in here, this whole background behind me, you can see how something like this is made. If you could generate trees, right? You could just draw paths, generate trees, add more to it. Could be a lot of fun. How could you render your own content? Honestly, you're going to use probably Adobe Dimension, because that's where I'd shift gears and use Adobe Dimension to, render my own content, basically. So would love to kind of pop the hood of this Photoshop, maybe adding some more rendering capabilities of our own. Who knows? Cool. All right, everybody, have a beautiful day. Take care of yourself. Make sure you're washing your hands. And make sure you're just hanging out with people online and not so much in person, because you'll make the world a better place that way. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you soon. By the way, last thing, I'm going to be live tomorrow. Just go to behance.net/live. I'll be doing an Illustrator challenge tomorrow at 11:30 a.m. Pacific time.